Now let's go over and look at the spreadsheet. This is on Google Docs. This spreadsheet is called Did Strategic Watering Help Halt the Garnet Fire? And we have 15 columns here. In column A, it is the date and the day. In column B, it's the forecast that I snapshotted from Apple. You'll notice they're all yellow because basically they forecast full sun every day of the fire that I was working on. That's another counterfactual we didn't get into. Right next to that is the actual weather over my sites. And so I've noted here the first day light transpiration, the second day strong transpiration. Then we start getting clouds. Then we get heavy clouds for 2 days, more good clouds, and then light transpiration on the last day that I'm there when I leave. Next to that is notes on whether or not I did nighttime stimulation. I will explain that some other day. That's also somewhat explained in the videos if you want to go check out the footage. But when I didn't do it, the cloud formation was a lot less the next day than when I did do it, if you'll notice. I did it Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. We had good clouds Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that's interesting. That's not always consistent, but that's how that worked out this time. There are keynotes here from the firefighting team. Going through the timeline really quickly. Sunday, September 7th, when I started watering, the InstaWeb reports by the firefighters said that the explosive wildfire growth was anticipated. This was Sunday that the fire grew 12,658 acres. The next day, Monday, they brought in a total of 6 helicopters equipped with night vision. 2 of those were from the Army. They also brought in 2 of these things called large air tankers to scoop up as much water out of the lakes as possible. But then Tuesday, and I have these different shades here, light red, light green to dark green, to convey different levels of fire and foresty good news. On Tuesday, the 9th, is when they said it went from very challenging to very favorable. On Wednesday, the 10th, is when they said the burn window is going to be in the 4 to 6 hour range for the next 2 to 3 days. On Thursday, the 11th, is when they said there is no fire outside of the current footprint today, and the humidity hit 88% overnight. On Friday, Mother Nature gave us a break, says the operations sections chief, and the weather gave us a break, meaning the fire stopped being something they had to worry about. And Saturday, the 13th, they said they were searching for hot spots inside the fire. They found a few small spot fires that they easily extinguished near the fire. Then the day after I left, Sunday, they said the fire stayed within its footprint. The crews were removing the sprinklers to protect the sequoia trees. And finally, Monday, the 15th, no growth or smoke outside of the established perimeter. That's when the acreage totals stopped growing on a daily basis and the fire growth officially ended. These kind of emphasize the counterfactuals. And then if you look at the snapshot that's in the study, this is actually closer to what you see. The column F, watering day, meaning strategic watering begins on Sunday, the 7th of September. The fire began on Sunday, the 24th of August, 2 weeks prior. 4,400 acres burned in that day. And we'll just go across these columns real quick. Then you'll see that 2 weeks I'm not there. There's just bad stuff going on. The fire's burning about 24 hours a day. It's about 80 to 90% probability of ignition the whole time. They can't really get around it. Containment numbers are low. Those are here in column Q. It takes them about a week to get up to 8% containment, and then it hovers at around 12 to 14% for another nearly 2 weeks before it starts jumping after I start the watering. So the conditions the first 2 weeks of the fire were basically just burning. And then here I come on Sunday, September 7th. My strategic watering begins that day. And the very next day, the night of Monday, the 8th, the probability of ignition drops. The burn window gets cut down by about 75%. The catastrophic burn on Sunday gets cut by about 55%. And we have our first moisture of extinction event. Now this column here, J, shows the highest humidities reported in the Garnet Fire reports that are on NCWeb, and they're also in my archive. The links are provided for both. And let's just go through that so you can kind of see that after my second day of watering, they say humidity went up that day. After my third day, same thing. They don't mention it in their reports on Wednesday the 10th, but then to everyone's surprise, humidity has jumped up to a high of 88% over some parts of the fire, and the lowest high being 60% over the rest of the fire. And that continues through Friday night, and then Saturday, 50 to 85%, Sunday, 45 to 85%. Essentially, if a fire gets, my understanding is that if it gets above 50% relative humidity, then you reach this moisture of extinction threshold that we're talking about over here in column K. The probability of ignition notes here are based on assumptions and factual statements. So the fire behavior analyst stated that it was 80 to 90 on Sunday and had been for a week or two before. For the history of the fire, he said it went down to 60 on Monday night and was going to be lower than 60 the next two nights and then continue to drop to 20 or 30 or lower. So we know that happened because fire growth officially was done after Monday the 15th. Burn window, same thing. It was 22 to 24 hours, as I mentioned. Then it drops, and then, of course, it just got lower than that. By Friday the 12th, apparently the experience again on, I think I mentioned this a moment ago, on site is that they couldn't ignite the vegetation. It was so moist. They couldn't do their controlled burns in the morning, and they were a little frustrated by that. I was gleeful by that because of that. Anyway, if you're studying the chart, then column N is the acres burned per day. Started at 4,420. Then the first day I started, it was 12,658. My last day of watering, 668. And then the last day of acres being counted as lost was Monday the 15th. Cumulative acres totaled out at 59,844. So it gained about 10,735 acres in this week that I was watering. But you'll notice if you look at column P that the percentage of growth lost over the acres from the sort of the history of the fire, it's pretty high, then it drops down a little bit, then it drops down again, and then it jumps way up, and then it drops down and stays down during this watering week. So we have 26% growth, then 11% growth, then 3%, 1%, so on and so forth. So the fire just really comes to a screeching halt again by about Thursday the 11th, according to what they say in the reports. That's the first day that containment starts to really move. On Friday the 12th, it jumps from 17 to 23 in the morning. So overnight, containment goes up and then again goes up during that day to 37%. And then by the next night, Saturday night, it jumps from 37 to 69%, which of course is nearly a 100% gain. And then just for reference, this is these yellow bits over here. This is showing the personnel additions and subtractions. It doesn't necessarily strengthen my case, but I just think it's an important part of this whole story. You can jump onto the spreadsheet. You can scroll around up and down. I've got the link to the final paper, the website, a little more information about what the asterisks mean and where the information comes from. And then this is actually links to the actual reports and the Apple Weather app and so forth, community videos that I use. And there you are. That is the numbers. That's how it laid out. As I got there, I started watering, and within 2 days, it looked like the fire was starting to turn. Within 4 days, I was sure that we had kind of knocked the sucker out. We being the collective we. But I think that as I've said in the study, the humidity that was forecast to come in Monday night was exponentially amplified by my strategic watering starting Sunday and moving all the way through Saturday, and that strategic watering brought this incredible moist air over the fire that then helped the fire team put the fire out by about Thursday the 11th and definitely by Monday the 15th. And so this was just good news for each and every one of us trying to do something good on the Garnet Fire. Thank you so much to the firefighting team, and I hope that this video is taken as instructive and helpful for people that want to also do strategic watering to prevent fire over large landscapes. Please check out the other videos in the series. I'm Chris Searles. I have a nonprofit called BioIntegrity.net, and I do a lot of this stuff. I've got a ton of reports I'm putting together right now from the last 4 years of strategic watering to help prevent fire in different parts of the United States West. More to come. Thanks for watching.